All right, so I'm doing this from my computer today instead of doing this from my phone. I need to correction. I want to cook. And I'm going to be making something delicious, cheap, relatively quick, healthy, and delicious. I'm making this for years. Pepper steak. Let me see if I can get this Wu-Tang 36 Chambers on the shirt. Bam. Do it like that. Let me see if I can flip the camera here. I'm much better at this on my phone versus doing this on the computer. Where's the camera flip option? I don't even know. I don't know. Whatever. It's raw. It's here. This is my kitchen. I didn't do anything especially clean or anything here. This is just what it is. So we're going to start by prepping everything because when you cook, you got to prep. So dice the onion, dice the pepper. This is the most important. Rather, everything is important. I thought about doing this also as a reel. How hardcore am I? That not only am I going to do this live, I'm also going to film pieces as a reel. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to take a photo of the finished product at the end. And I'll just post the photo. Or I'll have like a reaction of me eating it with a photo. That will be the plan. When I was buying stuff for the new apartment, I got a set of cutting boards. So I don't always have to use a massive cutting board. I have a baby one here, which is so convenient. Because if I only want to cut a pepper and an onion, what do I need to have a massive cutting board for? And also I find with pepper steak, cutting the onion pretty large because it's already going to dissolve, get smaller when it's cooked in hot oil, to be a very useful thing. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm now just dicing up. Actually, excuse me. I'm rough chopping the onions and the pepper. Because with a dish like pepper steak, you do want the pieces to be pretty thick. Because it's just nice like that. It's just nice like that. So just rough chopping. This is a dish that you can make with your kids. You can show your kids how to make it. If you're not really into cooking, but you want something delicious, this is for you. Obviously, I'm very into cooking, but sometimes I want to make stuff that's delicious and simple. Sometimes I don't want to have to really pull out all the stops, you know? I just want something that's simple, that's nostalgic. My mom used to make this for me when I was younger. Now, granted, I have absolutely souped this recipe up since then. It is much better than when she made it, but whatevs. So I got my wok here. Now you do want a high-sided pan because if you have a high-sided pan, once the oil gets hot, then it won't splatter all over the top of the oven or the stovetop, which is a pain. I'm gonna pour just a little bit of canola oil in there just to get shit rocking and rolling. And then I'm gonna wait for that to get hot. And then I'm going to put my onions in and I'm gonna brown my onions. Once my onions are pretty browned, I'm gonna add my steak. Now the steak that we're rocking with today is USDA Choice Beef for Stew. You can use any meat you want. I will tell you that fattier beef, like the quote unquote tastier beef, is not so much your friend here. You actually want You actually want to have beef that's more on the leaner side, which is what makes this even healthier and really awesome for meal prep and stuff, because you're going to be cooking this down and it's going to be in a nice thick sauce that's sweet and salty, and you're going to put it on top of rice. You don't need to have really fatty beef. It becomes too much. Meal prepping this for later, or is this just a meal? Publix meat, good lad. Yes. Am I meal prepping this for later? So this is going to last probably about 4 or 5 meals. Anytime I'm cooking, unless it's something that can be made in 5 minutes, usually it's something that's I'm going to do to last me around 4 or 5 meals at a time, or else it's not worth it, right? If I'm sitting here in front of the stove top and I'm cutting and I'm chopping and I'm sauteing and whatever, I want my effort to sort of bear the most fruit that it can bear. So I find 4 or 5 meals is like the really nice sweet spot of meals that are going to last me a long time while also maximizing flavor and taste. You know this if any of you have meal prepped before. If you are cooking something that's going to last 6 days or 7 days, by day 4, by day 5, it does not taste nearly as good as it did before. And if you're making all this effort and everything is going to be finished by the next day, it's almost like, goddamn, you know? So if I'm going to make something today, I need it or want it to last me anywhere from 3 to 5 days. I find that's the sweet spot. New stuff to prep, especially isn't chicken. Yeah. I agree. Chicken is awesome, but sometimes chicken just gets boring, right? I completely agree. Okay, so it looks like my oil has gotten pretty hot here. So I'm just going to slough my onions in there. Yeah, what I find with this recipe actually is that the bigger the onions are, sometimes I like to cut them in large rings. Those are actually nice texture-wise. When I'm making this with really diced onions and they go away, I don't like it as much. That's just me. Yeah, that's just me. And I also didn't know where to set this camera up. I have it here so I could talk to you. If I put it too close to the pan, well, then I run the risk of my computer getting dirty, and it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. So all I'm doing right now is just slightly breaking up the onions. And when you are cooking in a pan, you want to make sure that you're using a good spoon to do that. So I use a big, thick wooden spoon when I do mine, so therefore nothing gets scratched. If you use a rubber spoon, it's fine. If you use a metal spoon, you run the risk of potentially messing up your pan, and you don't want that. So I find a wooden spoon is best. So again, all I'm doing right now is just browning my onions. It will take a few minutes, surely. And then once my onions are browned, I'm going to add the stew beef, and I'm going to brown that up. And then once the meat is close to being browned, maybe medium rare-ish, I'm then going to add my cast of characters of flavors. And of course, I'll show you when it gets to the time, but I'm going to be adding ketchup. I'm going to be adding light soy sauce. I'm going to be adding crushed red pep. And I'm going to be adding some water. I believe I use half a cup of water. I'm not sure. I think it's about half a cup of water. It's cooking, right? So, you know. How much meat do you have by weight? A couple of pounds? Yeah, so this recipe is anywhere from 2 to 3 pounds of meat serving wise. I have about 2.5 pounds here. And it's already cut, right? So if you can see here, stew beef, the pieces are already pretty small, so I don't have to do stuff. But if you were buying something like a skirt steak or flank steak, which I would absolutely recommend for something like this, you may have to cut it up in strips. This does best in strips. However, this is already pretty much cut into cubes, so I'm not going to fuck with it. I'm going to let it be. And I love dishes like this where you're putting in a ton of vegetables into the already meat itself, because this is just a sneaky way to get more vegetables into your diet without having to actually prepare them. So in this dish, for 2.5 pounds of meat, I've got a whole onion, a whole pepper, and I'm also going to be using a 4-ounce can of mushrooms drained. So that's 3 different kinds of vegetables right there. Could I do 2 onions in here? Absolutely. Could I do 2 peppers? Absolutely. Could I even do 2 cans of mushrooms? For sure I could. So sneaky way to get the vegetables in, because then all you have to do is just add some carbohydrate to the meal and it's done. Protein, carbohydrate, vegetable. And of course the fat is already taken care of in the meat. So this is also going to cook for a long time in the pan. This is also going to cook for a long time in the pan. So we don't want to have the onions browned too much on the front end. We want them to get just more than translucent, slightly golden, and that's it. Because the meat is going to brown, the onions will be cooking. Then the whole concoction is going to be simmering for 30 minutes. Then we're going to add even more stuff. We're going to add the pepper. We're going to add the mushrooms. We're going to actually add cornstarch as well to thicken it. And it's going to cook again for an additional 15 minutes. So we don't want to be cooking the onions for too long. Just enough where it's slightly golden, and that's it. So honestly, in this time that I've been talking to you, we are almost there. Maybe another minute or 2, and we'll be in the clear. Of course, at the end of it all, you're the one cooking the dish. So cooking is always going to be what you prefer. If you don't like having onions textured in your dish and you want them to just be more fall away or be in the background, then you cook them really hard the whole way out so it dissolves. Same thing with the peppers. If you're the kind of person that likes to have your vegetables really prominent and textured throughout, then you won't cook them for as long, so they'll have more chew, more bite to them. How are you tracking macros on this? Just approximating for the veggies and meat? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I'm doing. My best guess based on all of the years that I've tracked my food, I'll look at this and I'll be like, all right, half a plate or this much meat to me looks like 40 or 50 grams of protein, looks like 20 grams or so of fat. And that's what I'll do. Am I going to be right? No. Am I going to be wrong? Yes. Am I going to be very wrong? No. I'm going to be more close to right than I will be wrong, and I'll take that, especially because I'm also in a weight gain phase right now. So I'm not as hardcore with the macro tracking that I might be if I was, let's say, 8 weeks left in a diet where everything is tighter. All right. So I have some brown going through the onions now. Slight brown. Now I'm going to add the meat. And goes without saying, when you add meat to your pan, unless of course you have a high-sided pan, you want to do it slowly so nothing splatters. That's one. And one more package here. So again, I've got about 2.5 pounds of stewed beef here. You hear that crackling? That's That's flavor building right there. And I've got the pan on about medium heat. And stew beef, but if you're going to use skirt steak or flank, it's already got some fat in it. So no additional oil is needed to sort of brown this through, because I've already kind of got enough fat here. So you can work it around a little bit. Honestly, I'm fucking with it a bit more than I need to. Like I can just let this stuff be for a few minutes and eventually it'll be browned. Yeah. Yeah, Tommy, absolutely. I mean, this video, of course, is going to be saved. And in the caption, once this is uploaded, I will put the write-up of the recipe. So you can absolutely try this bitch on your own. 100%. If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm telling you all right now, this is not one of those meal prep things that are healthy but kind of good. No, this is healthy and it's fucking good. Really good. Like, make it for anyone, even that doesn't give a shit about fitness good. And they shouldn't anyway. Pepper steak is a Chinese American dish, not dissimilar to orange chicken, General Tso's chicken, lo mein. It's in that family. But it's not double fried and breaded. So, yes. We're just in the browning phase. We're in the browning phase, and then we're going to get into the flavor phase. Anyone that's in here, of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Go ahead, jump in. Trisec is always heavy with the questions. And I'll tell you something else that I really like to do here. I like, if I can, to use the same measuring spoons as much as I can to minimize cleanup. So if you can do all the conversions in your head, like 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, 8 tablespoons in half a cup, that kind of thing, it really helps versus constantly having to grab different measuring things every single time. Like this entire dish, measure-wise, all I'm using is half a tablespoon and a quarter of a cup. That's it. And I'll just do my conversions. My meal prep make for anyone dishes fajitas. Guess never know it's a protein bomb. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't like fajitas. Not my thing. I don't like Mexican food. It's just one of those things. I know it's odd. Tacos are fine, but I'm not a big fan of Mexican food. And here, in using, by the way, a meat that's got some fat on it, like stew beef or any of the other fats I mentioned, it will release fat and it will release liquid into the pot. We are not, I repeat, we are not draining this liquid. No, we are keeping this beef flavoring in. It's going to be delicious. You know what, though? I will, don't judge, I will be using the scissors here, and I do want to cut up some of these pieces of beef because this is meant to be relatively bite-sized pieces. I don't want to have massive beef hunks in here. And while the grocery store was good at cutting some of this stuff up, they clearly weren't great. So I'm going to have to scissor some of this stuff in half. That's okay. Not a problem. And if you like to have larger beef pieces in yours, of course you can do that. Me, I would prefer not. I want everything bite size. Yeah, that'll work. What socks am I rocking? Ugh, no socks right now because I'm in my own house. I don't wear socks in my own house. If I'm going somewhere, then maybe. But that's cool that you catch that because I always try to rock the cool socks. I try to keep my outfits in the gym pretty muted, and I'll have some fun socks to give it some personality. I got a whole lot to say on that topic. I don't know where fitness fashion, like when it changed, but man, it is so bad. Like these days, it's like how you can peacock the most. How you can peacock the most is how you seemingly sell the most product. It's pretty insane if you ask me. Like when did it not become cool to just wear a regular white tank top, regular white t-shirt, regular shorts that fit at a normal length, whether it's like slightly above the knee or at the knee, or regular fitting fucking pants with normal colors? Now everything's like fluorescent and stripes and baggy, and I don't like it personally. Okay. So we are now mostly brown. So it is now, I believe, time. I believe now it is mostly time to add the flavorings. All right, here we go. So I got light soy sauce here, about 3 tablespoons worth. About 3 tablespoons worth of soy sauce. We've got about a little more than half a cup of ketchup. If you didn't know, in Chinese American type cooking, ketchup is like the lifeblood. When any of you think of honey chicken or orange chicken, General Chow's chicken, ketchup is really important. And then we go about half a tablespoon of crushed red. And half a cup of water. Don't spill it, Shim. I won't. Don't you take me, Gypsy. You cannot take me. All right. And now we're just mixing this through. So just to recap, I did just about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, just over half a cup of ketchup, and around half a tablespoon of crushed red pepper, and about half a cup of water. And now I'm going to wait for this to come to a boil. I'm not going to taste it and make flavor addendums at this time. I am just going to let everything be. It's also very hard to get a true feel for how your dish is coming together when it's piping hot. You kind of need to wait for it to come down in temperature, and then you can make the assessments. So right now, all I'm going to do is just let all of that come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, I'm going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. Excuse me, not sit. Simmer, Shim. Simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to add the pepper, the mushroom, and the cornstarch. You mean you don't want to wear Rascal apparel, bro? No, I don't want to wear that shit. It's fucking weird. Honestly, it's fucking weird. The correct measurements of red pepper flakes is when you look at it and say, yeah, that's good enough. I don't know about that because I've definitely been there where I've overdone the pepper flakage. And to be honest, it cooked my whole dish. Like it fucked me. It was not good. I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. So that was pretty quick. My stovetop burners are strong. My stovetop burners are powerful. So it's boiling now. So I'm going to try to bring this to low. And I'm going to let it simmer for 30 minutes. Going to let it simmer for 30 minutes. Now, if you had other things that you needed to meal prep at this time, maybe if you wanted to roast sweet potatoes, if you wanted to do something with chicken or make some other vegetable, while this 30 minutes is taking place with the simmer, you could then move on to prepping something else. Me, I don't have anything else to prep. So with this meal, I'm just having rice packets. Nothing special about Mahatma. They were buy one, get one free. I would use Publix, Uncle Ben, Auntie Jane, whatever. Just happens to be this today. And it's funny because I have a rice cooker and I used to be so pro rice cooker rice. And it's still great, of course, still convenient, but I find nothing beats 90-second jasmine rice packets from a texture standpoint. Like they're always perfectly like gummy and soft and squishy and sticky, and it's just what I want, you know? It's just what I want. So that's what we're doing. Prepped. The rice is prepped. We've got 28 and a half minutes left. Overzealous clients. Can't beat them. Let me see if I can get a video here. Maybe I'll be able to make a reel out of this after all. So I got I got video footage of the before. Now I got a video of the meat simmering and I got a video of the pepper. If I can remember to get a video of me putting the starch, the pepper, and the mushrooms in, mixing that up, and then a final, then maybe I can get a 30, 35-second reel out of it. That would be good. That would absolutely be good. We'll see. We will see.
Love my rice cooker. Recently bought a larger one. Have been finding recipes for meals I can make in it for meal prep. Yes. There's a Japanese chicken curry. I make it every other week. So interesting that you say that. I've never made Japanese curry, but I love it. And I want to make it. And I know how easy it is because you can just buy the Japanese curry block at the Asian market or at the grocery store and then just add a bunch of other things to it. And I know that it's delicious. This is absolutely something that's on my to make list. And I should. And maybe I should maybe do that after this. Not today, but I absolutely need to make that. Completely agree. So this is just simmering away here, getting nice and thick, building immense levels of flavor. I'm going to leave everything out that I already used in here, just in case I need to modify stuff later on. So if it's not salty enough and more umami, then maybe I'll add more soy sauce. If it needs more zing and pep, then maybe I'll add some ketchup. If it needs some more spice, I'll add more of the crushed red pepper. But as you see, it's a really low ingredient recipe, which is awesome. I'm seeing if I can get a cool shot out of this for a reel. It's going down. It's going down. That could be funny. That could be funny. Yeah. So again, I'm just waiting here right now. I'm just waiting. We've got another 20 minutes. I might as well prep the mushrooms. If any of you don't know about canned mushrooms, you need to. I love mushrooms as a vegetable. Trouble with mushrooms as a vegetable when they're fresh is that you've got like a 2-day, 3-day window to have them when they're peak. And then they get kind of weird. You get canned mushrooms, sure, it's a different texture. Yeah, but they never go bad. They're cheap. And they're usually sold in 4-ounce cans. So it's basically a serving every single time. What is my pre-workout meal? How soon do you have it before the workout? So I don't think that I'm training today. So there's no pre-workout meal for today, but typically I have a protein shake and a piece of fruit. And then I have about 40 grams of carbs that I drink while I'm training. That's how we're doing it right now. That's how I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks, and I like it, and that's what I do.
So I'm now just waiting. Thoughts on stim-free pre-workouts? I'm going to move the camera here and I'm going to sit down with you all because there's nothing for me to do right now with that food. So I'm just going to sit down and we're going to chat. So, thoughts on stim-free pre-workouts? I think they're great. I have a stim-free pre-workout myself in my pantry at this time. And that's gross, whatever, it's from the soy sauce. When I have pre-workouts, I usually opt for a stim-free one and I add my own caffeine, or I'll just have a small amount of cold brew coffee because it usually has less caffeine within it. I'm very caffeine sensitive, so I don't need a lot to get the feeling that I want to get. But I like them. The only thing that you need to be aware of when it comes to stim-free pre-workouts is what else is in them, or what is in them, and do they have the right sort of measurements or amounts within them of what you want. So some stim-free pre-workouts, like the Legion one, which is really popular, that's the one I have. That one is properly dosed with the quote-unquote right stuff. But a lot of other stim-free pre-workouts they're not dosed properly, and so I'm just really not sure what they're doing, right? So you want to have citrulline in there, you want to have beta-alanine in there. You could have betaine in there, that's fine. Alpha GPC is a focus type thing. Those I feel are the main things that you want to have. That's what I personally look for. I'm sure there's other things out there that are very fringe or might be cool, but citrulline, beta-alanine, betaine, alpha GPC, that's what I look for. And as far as the right amounts, I mean, for citrulline, you want to be having at least 4 grams. Beta-alanine, you want to have at least 1.6 grams. Betaine, I think you want to have anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 grams. Alpha GPC, I'm not sure what the dosage is. It's pretty amateur of me, right? That I say I'm looking for alpha GPC, but I don't know how much I'm looking for in it. I just want to make sure that it's in there. If those dosages are not in your pre-workout, or you can't get to those dosages with maybe like a double scoop, I think that non-stim pre is probably not doing a lot for you. And I mean, you could always just buy what I just said individually and make your own, but it usually, I think, ends up being more expensive than that. And I don't want caffeine because I work out after work. I'll be up all night. Yeah. You should look at the Legion non-stim pre. You should. It's really good. That's the only one that I buy if I'm going to buy it, if I'm going to use a pre-workout at all. And I've been buying it for the last year and a half, maybe something like that. Transparently, I actually hit up Legion. I said I wanted to work with them, and they sent me one for free. They sent me one for free, but that was the extent of it. We don't do any other work together. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't have a discount code, none of that. How do I live without regrets? Will there be some regret to some extent every which way? You want to give me some more context, like to your life while you're asking that, or do you want me to answer that just in general? How to live without regrets. I mean, I'm no life coach. I certainly have made my fair share of mistakes. I certainly don't have life figured out like at all. I have some things figured out. And yeah, sure, I seem to speak well, but like I got a lot of shit to figure out too. So I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that. But being that you're here and you're asking, how do I live without regrets is whenever you question about doing something, so long as it's not deleterious to your health or anyone else around you, you should do it. Because then you'll never wonder what if, because you tried it, right? You did the thing. Will there be some regrets to some extent every which way? You're a human. There's always going to be some kind of regret. There's no way you could do everything perfectly. 27 dude, and I feel relatively lost. Well, I think the biggest thing you could do when you feel lost is to find something that empowers you or that brings you joy, that gives you a sense of accomplishment, whatever that thing is, and do as much of that as you can until you find the next thing. Because when you kind of get that feeling of empowerment and
control and accomplishment, that wave can usually take you very much to a positive place, whatever the next thing is. For a lot of people, I mean, you hear this in fitness circles, right? They're like, the gym is my home place. The gym saves me. The gym is my rock. It can be the gym. For some people, it could be dancing. Like if they're really sick at dancing, but they don't have anything else in their life figured out, like they go out dancing, they go to a social, they go to a festival, and like that gets them going. For some other people, it could be trading stocks. They have a couple, really sick trades, and their algorithm, if they have an algorithm that worked. And so the best thing you can do, I think, and again, take this with a huge grain of salt, because who the fuck am I, is do something that gives you a lot of empowerment and it gives you a lot of accomplishment and confidence, and then move from there. Most guys feel lost at 27. I know I did. I still feel lost. Yeah. Trisecta, how old are you? I'm 31, by the way, guys. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah. 27 to 25 is touch because you spend real development years in lockdown. Oh, is rough. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because lockdown, you were 23. I don't know if that's so much formative years. I feel like your formative years are before that, Trisec, but I could be wrong. Oh, yeah, you're 34. You're 3 years older than me. Yeah. What do you do for work, if you don't mind asking? Are you employed? Do you work? Do you live at home? Again, I'm no life coach, but the more context I have, maybe I can give you a better answer. I don't know. 14 minutes left. 14 minutes left. This is a nice chat. It's funny because I also planned to play music during this thing, but I didn't want to get, I don't know, demonetized or flagged or copyrighted or something. I'm a part-time software developer. Parents pay my rent. Okay. Do you like what you do? Do you hate what you do? Do you make good money and your parents pay your rent, or the money is whatever and your parents have to pay your rent? I like what I do. I make minimum wage, hence the help from parents, hoping I can find a full-time thing that I can stick with. I used to be a job hopper. Yeah. I mean, the easy thing that I could tell you here, I mean, granted, it's slightly different to what you asked, but tap your network. If you don't like what you do, if you want to find a higher paying job, in my experience, I mean, whatever, take it for what it's worth. Like Indeed and all the job sites never worked for me. When I was applying for jobs, I applied to hundreds and hundreds of jobs with my resume, and like barely any of them got back to me. And if barely any of them got back to me. And any cool job stuff, business stuff, networking stuff that I've ever been a part of has always been because of who I actually know or who I can reach out to, not a random job posting. So maybe it would make sense to tap your network. Look at the people that are doing cool shit or relatively cool shit, or the people that are like rich or have a lot of money that you know, and talk to them and see who they know. And maybe they can set you off on a career path that you either hadn't considered before, or maybe something where you're already doing what you're doing, but you just do it for a higher paying individual or entity. I'm going to go and stir the meat, but guys, give me questions. Give me questions. I'm here to help. Yeah, Liu. Yeah, man. Yeah. Were you always a seemingly confident Chad? Just got turned down for a second date and I'm low-key bummed. I was not always confident. I think so I was pretty shy and not sure of myself probably up until about maybe 6th or 7th grade. And then I sort of grew into this role as being the funny guy in my friend group, like almost at my own expense, just like laugh at my own jokes, laugh with me, at me, whatever. Um, I became kind of the funny guy. And that helped a ton, just like always making jokes and, and doing that. And then I became the fit guy. So then when you're the fit guy and you're the funny guy, it's a pretty nice, it's a pretty nice sort of combination to get more confident and be cool with attention and enjoying attention. And yeah. And I've always been able to speak really well about things that I like. So I've always spoken well about things that I'm passionate about. And I've always liked speaking in front of crowds. I've always liked kind of people, again, from maybe the ages of like 13 and up or 12 and up. So it's always been like that. I won't lie. When it came to girls, I was just like any guy, like girls that were incredibly beautiful. That was like, of course, I would get nervous, like most guys would. But really, that's just about two things. Number one, it's about exposure. It's about being around these girls for more and more time and understanding that they're like the same as everyone else. And number two, like believing that you're him in whatever capacity that is. And if you're, really believe that you're that guy. And the only way that you can truly believe that you're that guy is when you have evidence, like Alex Hormozy's talked about that. You don't need to be that guy in everything. But if you are that guy in a few things where you've built some confidence points, where you know that you're an authority in something, you're one of the best at something, confidence can sort of bleed over into everything. I remember on the STD podcast, you're one of the opinions that MEV is underrated. Oh, nice pivot. MEV is underrated. Do you still feel that way since there's some more evidence that higher volumes may be better? I feel that way. Yeah. I feel that way more than ever, actually. But I also don't disagree that higher volumes may be better. I think it just depends on the person. I think my stance hasn't changed that most people don't train properly. Most people don't train with enough effort. They don't train with enough really good technique. So you can lipstick on a pig that and just do a lot of mediocre volume for sure. And the more mediocre volume you do, the better off you'll probably be. But the volume was innately mediocre. So what are we talking about, right? Whereas if you really sort of got back down to the foundation, picked amazing exercises, really, really refined your mind-muscle connection, really refined your technique, and then ultimately your ability to exert effort while still providing perfect technique, I think many would find that their volume requirements would be way less than they initially thought. Thing is, once you do that for long enough, your body's adaptive. You are going to have to do more and more volume. And at that point, yes, the more volume you do, the better off you'll be. But I just feel like most people don't get there. I feel like most people don't usually get to that point. They don't usually do the double D, the due diligence, to spend all that time refining, perfecting, going back to the foundation to ultimately build on top of that. They maybe make small changes, small improvement, and then just climb the volume ladder. So yeah, I feel the same way that I did back then. We've got 6.5 minutes left before we go ahead and add everything else to the pot. Is everlasting contentment a myth? Sometimes I find myself thinking, when will things be okay forever? That's deep. I don't know if things being okay forever. I think the idea of it is a floating state, right? There's times when things are going to be okay, and there's times when things are not going to be okay, and nothing lasts forever. I think if you can spend more time, of course, in the contentment versus non-contentment mindset, that's probably healthier and better. But I think it's cool understanding that sometimes things aren't okay, and eventually they will be. It also sort of makes you appreciate both times. Yeah. Gonna give a stir. Gonna give a stir ski. Stir ski. I'm getting hungry. I am getting hungry, which is good timing. It's 12:19 p.m. right now. It might be by 12:45, 1 o'clock. Do you feel sad at times? Yeah, of course, man. I'm a human. I feel everything. I get excited. I get depressed. I get anxious. I get sad. I get hopeless. I get excited. I feel everything. And I'll say, as much as it feels nice to feel all the good things, when you feel the bad things, it's really what makes you appreciate the really, really good things too. Because if you only feel good all the time, eventually you're just going to chase higher and higher levels of whatever the good thing is. And eventually you'll get to a point where you're trying to do things that are like really hard to do. I think that's also what happens when people ultimately turn to like drugs or hookers or whatever. Yeah. You're starving. Yeah. I mean, you're really going to be starving when you see how this shit comes out in the end in like 20 minutes. It's really, really awesome. I haven't had this in a really long time. I was thinking about it the other day because I was like, I had chicken for the last, not only chicken, but I've had a lot of chicken in the last 2 weeks. I was like, I want something else. And I don't know if you all feel this way, but when it comes to seafood, like I like shellfish, but I don't eat a whole lot of salmon unless it's raw. Like I went out for sushi last night, so a shit ton of raw salmon. Smoked salmon lox I like, but as far as baked salmon, cooked salmon, or baked fish in general, not so much my thing. And steak is great, but there's only so much, like New York strip and anything you can have, and any kind of fatty meat ribeye that you eat before you're like, I don't want to eat any more of this, So I was like, what can I make that's tasty, delicious, isn't so expensive, and I haven't had it in a while? And I was like, oh, pepper steak. You ever been to Japan? Typing this from Tokyo. Oh, bro, that's awesome. No, I've never been to Japan. I was supposed to go with my girl to Japan, actually in July. We thought that we'd be able to go, but we're not going to have enough time with her schedule. So we're actually going to Mexico instead. But Japan is like top of the list for me. It goes Japan, South Africa, Italy, Greece, Thailand. That's where I want to go. Yeah. I really, really, really want to go to Japan. Lou, let me ask you this. What do you think is the ideal amount of time to spend in Japan if you've never been before? I'm sure I'm not going to see everything, right, in one trip. Nobody does. But what's a good amount? 2 weeks? 14 days? So consider like a day lost in travel each way, because I'm coming from the East Coast USA. So 12 days actually proper in the country. Do you think that's good, or do I need more? Because I'm sure it's not going to be less. Let me know. Yeah. Trisec, that's no good, man. But I can tell you, if you want a loan and you are nervous you're going to stay in your room, if you make an itinerary beforehand, then all you have to do is just follow the itinerary. 3 weeks tops, 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say. Okay. Yeah. Also, I didn't mention that. I mentioned this, but I don't do well with leaving my routine for too long. Like, I don't like going away for a month or 4 weeks. That's too long for me. 2 weeks is like the most that I'll do, where I'll just like completely fuck off. Like wake up when I want, go to bed when I want. I don't care if I don't work out, whatever food is around. Like 2 weeks is the most I'll do of that. So that's good to hear. Okay. Where shall I put this? I'm going to put y'all back here for now. Huh. We're going to put in the stuff. And I'm going to get footage of it. Okay. Pepper, mushrooms, and now cornstarch. And what cornstarch does, everyone, if you don't know, if you don't cook, is cornstarch thickens. Cornstarch thickens. Oh boy. Thickens the sauce. See, it's a thickener right there. But it's very important that you make sure the cornstarch dissolves fully, because if you don't, then you're going to get chalkiness. And chalkiness is not a quality that I want in my pep steak. I'm just going to mix it through. Yes. Yes. Now I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. Yes. Beautiful. Do you think it's true? Do you think it's true that exceptional people build in solitude? I don't know about that. Here's what I think about that. Because funnily enough, I've actually thought of it. I think that exceptional people have to be cool with being alone. That is something that I truly believe. I think if you need people all the time, I think that's actually a weakness. I think it's a flaw. So I think you have to be okay with being alone and be able to function being alone. But I don't know if exceptional people are built totally just being in solitude, because that completely ignores your ability to be influenced by other people, the ability to collaborate with other people. And those are two things that absolutely can make you better. So that's my take on that. The people that I know that are incredibly successful are so okay with being alone, but did not get there by being alone. That was good, right? That was good. 12:28. So 15 minutes now of everything simmering in there. And then we start to taste. And then we eat. Oh, yes. You joined my live. Hello. The food's gonna be very good. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be very good. Shim Simmers. Who's got the keys to my bimmers? Honestly, Shim Simmers is fucking great, and I'm writing that down. I'm gonna put that in my caption. Lou, do you follow me on Instagram? It's Shimmy93 on Instagram. If you don't, you should follow me on Instagram or stay tuned because I'm gonna post something about this today, and Shim Simmers will absolutely be in there. That is great. Shim Simmer, who got the keys to my bimmer? That's great. That's great. Let me see how this is doing. Hold on. But also remember, if any of you decide to make this, that the meat that you're going to be using here is lean, so it's like kind of tough, right? So you can let it cook for a long time, and it's okay. Yes. Any more questions, everyone? Any RP collab in the works? Message them. Here's what you got to do. No joke. Here's what you got to do. If you want, there's no plan. I would love there to be, but there's no plan. Message Dr. Christie. Message RP Strength on Instagram. Message Elizabeth Hardy on Instagram. I think she's like the athlete manager or whatever. And tell them that you want me there. And if enough people tell them that they want me, I'm sure I will be back there. Unless obviously I become famous and then I'll ask them and then we'll do it, right? But not there yet. I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it bubbling. I can hear it bubbling and flavorizing. Flavorizing. Yes. Yes, Lou. Yes. Yes, we need Shims to win. We need him to win. We're doing it all now. Now we're on TikTok. Now we're on LinkedIn. Now we're obviously here doing YouTubes consistently. Now we're doing Instagram. Guys, I'm doing it all. We got to win. I'm a Lakers fan. So, not a Lakers fan, but I did, no joke. You know how they're hiring a strength and conditioning coach? I applied. No joke, I applied. I would love to be their strength coach. That'd be so fun. And obviously I would document it. All the content would be insane. They probably won't hire me, but I would love that. I'm a Heat fan because I live in Miami. Favorite bicep movement? So the question of favorite always changes. So it's like, what is my favorite right now? Are you ready for this? A dumbbell concentration curl. Like sitting, like arm in the inner thigh. That's my favorite one right now. The answer will change in a few months, but right now that's where we're at. I think I have it's boiling a little too much. Ooh, shit, don't die. Hold on. Oh my God, it looks so good. Guys, it looks so good. All right, let me see if I can show you. I don't know how to flip the camera on this thing. how to flip the camera on this thing. Tell me that doesn't look professional. Just go ahead. I'll wait. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Just charging. Relax. Okay. That looks so good and it smells so good. The one from my short yesterday. Yes, that. Yes. The one from my short yesterday. Florida Man's. Yes. Yeah, guys, I told you it's good. It's gonna be delicious. Now, the only thing that I have to make sure is that I nailed the balance of sweet, salty, spicy, or the yum, if you guys know about that from Thai cooking. That's what I have to balance because the texture is there, like the base flavor, the umami, that's there. It's just a matter of, did I get it sweet, spicy, salty enough? 5 more minutes and then kill the heat and party. So what footage did I get so far? Let's see. So I got the arrangement. I got the meat simmering. I got the pepper. Me putting in the pepper. The mushrooms. Okay. My pre-bed routine. So I'm not going to give you my whole pre-bed routine. Not that I have a big one, but I'm going to give you a tip. I don't know, of course, how all of your houses are arranged, apartments are arranged, but if you can keep your cell phone out of your bedroom, it's a really do that shit. I started doing that a few weeks ago and it is absolutely, oh my God, a fantastic thing that I did. And so no matter what time you're going into bed, whatever, leave your phone in the kitchen, leave your phone in the living room, whatever. Don't bring it into your room. And if you use your phone for an alarm clock, set the alarm and it'll go off outside your room and you'll actually have to get up anyway to turn it off. But this ensures that you won't be scrolling in bed. This ensures that you won't wake up and check your phone. It's good. It's good. I'm going to set up the camera here. Do I cycle through caffeine? I do, but I'm not intentional in terms of like, let me say it differently. I do. When I'm in a weight gain phase and when I'm in a maintenance phase, I have no caffeine. I don't need it because I can just eat more food, right? And when I'm in a dieting phase, the beginning of my diet, no caffeine. And then maybe like a quarter of the way into my diet, I start with caffeine, but I start with a small amount, maybe 80 milligrams, maybe 100 milligrams. And I'll slowly add as I lose more weight and as I kind of have less food and more cardio and probably also less sleep. But I never get to a high amount of caffeine, but I highly recommend that you cycle your caffeine. I don't need any more cornstarch, so I'm going to put the cornstarch away. And I don't need any more canola oil, so I'm going to put that away too. Put the rice in the microwave for now. And I'm going to kill the heat now so it can come down in temperature. The texture is there.
The texture is 100% there. It's velvety. It looks great. The peppers are not soft, but not crunchy. They're somewhere in the middle, which is good. We're in a good place. Do you ever feel sad on a calorie deficit? In terms of what? In what capacity? In what way would I be sad? I might. I don't know what you're asking. I'm just adding whatever remnants here are left of the cornstarch. All right. What do you usually eat for breakfast? Good protein breakfasts are difficult for me to find. I'm not hungry in the morning, so I just have a protein shake and some fruit, or I would have a protein shake and a bowl of cereal. I keep it simple. On a cut, do you feel sad for feeling unenergized and listless? No, I do not. And if you do, you should fix that. That's not a good thing. Okay, let's start tasting. All right. We're not far. We're not far away. Yeah. I'm not going to put any more crushed red. Let's do a bit more soy. And let's do a touch of sugar. I'm not even gonna measure it. Just some sprinkles. And honestly, we might be good. Might be set. Yeah. 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 I think we did it, y'all. I think we did it. I think we did it. So, appreciate you for hanging here. Shimsima, who got the keys to the bimmer? Who am I? The girl is them sugar, and I. I will catch you guys another time. Love. See ya later.